In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create your very first storybook. This is an easy guide for beginners with just a couple of steps to get you started. So the first thing that I'm going to do when I'm logged into my Storied account, I want to start my book project, and I'm going to come in the left-hand navigation panel on the side to the Storybook Studio option. Once I click on that, I'm going to have template options, and we've got 3 different templates and then a start from scratch option. You can do a memorial book, a recipe book, a life story book, or totally from scratch, which is what we're going to do for this particular project. When you set up your project, you're going to name it, and you're going to create the cover, really is what you're doing here. And this can always be changed, but it's just a nice visual to help you jumpstart and get started with your book project. So here I've created the book project. I've got a title, I've got a subtitle. These are our 20 custom colors. You can add photos as well. So this is just setting up your book project. The next step is to add your stories, and there are a couple of different ways you can add stories. You could tell a new story, add from your stories, which that's usually what I do, and you can also add stories from groups that you're part of, which is really nice. So you don't have to do all of the writing. Maybe if you're in a group, you're grabbing some stories that others have written as well. And then you're going to pick your stories. And so we have lots of filter options at the top for you to filter your stories. Like if you're like me, I've got over 400 stories, so it's nice to be able to filter and find the ones that I want. I simply put a check in the radio button to the left of the stories that I want to include in my book. So what we're going to do is I'm going to jump out of the presentation and I'm going to show you what that looks like firsthand. So over on my navigation panel, this was the StoriedBook Studio, and I chose that, and then I'm going to click on this Start My Project. This is where I have the template options. I'm going to choose Start from Scratch. And then this is happening in real time. So as I'm typing my kind of project name, which is my book title name, you'll see that it is changing for me over here on the right-hand side. I can change my colors, so it's kind of live. You see what's happening right in real time. You can also add photos. This one is a no image, but you can do a half page and full page. So let's add a photo. I can upload something new, or I can choose something from my scrapbook. Let's grab this picture of Ida. I can adjust it to make it cropped to look the way that I want it to. I'm going to save that. So here is my cover image. You can see I can move my title to the top, move it to the bottom. And so this is just, again, saving my book project. So I'm going to click on continue. And then this is going to take me into kind of my book dashboard. So here you can see a little image of my cover that I created. Here's where I can always edit that. And now I'm going to, it says add my first story here, or I can add stories here, which I'm going to go to this blue button. And how do I want to add my stories? Let's go from my stories. And again, these are my filter options. I'm going to choose the stories that I want for my book. I'm just going to grab a couple and I'm going to say done. Now you can see here that I have 4 stories in this particular book, and I've got 1 contributor, meaning only 1 author for these stories. If I was adding stories from groups, then I might have multiple contributors. And here are my 4 stories, and these are drag and drop. That's super easy to put them in a different order. You put them in any order that you want. When you're done, you're going to click on that review and order at the top right. And this is giving me an alert because one of my stories is still in draft mode. So I can choose to edit that and then go ahead and publish, or I can remove it from my book so that I don't print something that's in draft form. So when I do a review, it's going to show me again my exterior, what that looks like, and I can always change the items here if I wanted to. Let's say I wanted to do a half-page image instead for her, and I can change that, or no image. So I can change that around, and then when I hit continue, I'm going to get a preview of my interior, and I order and I'm done. So it's really just a few steps to creating a beautiful storybook that will last for generations to come. Best of luck.